Yeah, hi everyone. Okay, it looks like I'm here. Let me just get to pull this up so I can at least talk to myself. Hi everyone, Dallas Piana here from Coaching Scaling Secrets on another Wednesday Facebook Live, 11 o'clock Pacific every Wednesday. So let's see, room change, flipped it around so it looks a little different than last time we did a live. We'll see how it goes. The light is a little glary in the back. I'm gonna have to change some of those things. But anyway, let's get into the live today and the education today, which is really about choosing a program name that attracts buyers, right? So how do you choose a program name? You know, you've got this beautiful course, this beautiful program, coaching program. You got to have a name for it that is kind of sexy, is kind of, boom, that draws attention, that gets attention, and that nobody else has also. So I'm actually doing this um, I'm doing this on Zoom so I can share my screen with you. And what I want to start with is the first, when you have an idea for a program name, is you want to be sure nobody else has it. And so how do you do that? You go into the Google search, right, bar, and you write in the name of your program and you look to see if anybody else has that program name, or, because I'm telling you, people will come after you if they get wind that you are using the same name that they have. Many people have trademarked or registered their name so that they are the only person can use that name, and they will sue you or ask you to stop and stop using that name, and they will have their lawyer come after you and you'll have to pay them some kind of you'll be fined for using their name. So it's serious business. All right. So you definitely want to check on Google, if that name is taken. And the other place you want to check is the trademark site for the government. Okay. And I'm going to show you how to do that in the United States. Now, if you're in Italy or Europe or Australia or Africa, wherever, you need to look at your trademarks for your country, okay, to make sure that you're not using a name somebody else has claimed. Now, if you're selling to, let's say you're from Europe or Australia or Africa, and you're selling to people in the United States, you want to also check that trademark in the United States. So I'm going to see if I can share my screen. Here, share my screen. Here we go. Okay, and let me pull this down. And what you would do, let me just pull up and you put in trade. Come on, it's gonna do it. Yeah, trade mark. Okay, search. And then come down here where it says uspto.gov. That's where you go, okay? Because it's a database, okay? And you want to click on that, and then you want to go to this trademark electronic search system, okay? Click on it. I hope you're seeing this. Are you seeing this? Yeah, you are. Okay. And then you just go into basic word mark search. Okay. You just click on that. Now here, you want both plural and singular of the word. You could just do what's live, because there are things that expire and then the word is, or the product name or the program name is up for grabs. But if you see, let's just put in like Nike here. Let's just see what comes up. So you can see here it's live. Okay, somebody owns it. Here's the serial number. Somebody owns the word Nike, and then Nike Land is taken, Nike Tone is taken, Goat Nike Connect is taken, Nike by You, Nike Connect. So all those words are taken. Okay, so all you want to do is come in, like I said, is drop your whatever your program you're considering, whatever program name you're considering, drop it in here and see if it's already, somebody has already taken it. The other way you want to check is you go to the Google search bar and you put in, for instance, let me just put in my client accelerator academy. That's one of my programs. Let's just see. So you can see when I was deciding on a name for one of my programs, which was, I wanted Client Accelerator Academy, but it's taken. Do you see it has a .com? It's taken. But if I just put one word in front of it, my Client Accelerator Academy, I can use that. Okay, so that's the name of my program. So you can alter, if that's the name they have, you could put best, ultimate, mastery, another word in front of here and still use these 3 words in a name of a program. Okay, so it doesn't mean that they have exclusive rights to just these 3 words. It's really the entire thing. All right, so you want to make sure that nobody else has it before you use it. Okay, you don't have to get a trademark, but you could trademark it obviously later. I'm gonna stop sharing now. Later, once you see that the program is successful and you want to trademark the name so other people don't use it, you can go ahead and do that. But you definitely want to get the URL associated with that name, the domain name. Okay, so and if at all possible, you want to get a .com, right? A .com. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2, let's talk about naming your program. Like, what are good names? How do you name a program, right? Let me just put up some of my notes here because there's so much information. Now, this is, if you're just hopping on, say hi. I'd love to see who's joining me today. And where are you calling in from or watching from? So there's so many different ways and avenues, or strategies to naming your program, service, or product. Okay, so I'm just going to touch on a few just to get you going. One way is to put the name of your ideal client, how they self-identify, in the title of your program. So you're almost like calling them out, okay? And many people think of it as, who's your tribe, right? So it could be spa owners, and then, the name of the program, or it could be smart women or truckers. It could be in the title of your program. Okay, and a good example for this is, E-Women Network. E-Women, E meaning online, and then women, it's a group, an organization of women that network, okay, in each, chapters all over the United States. I mean, so we're not only talking about program names, but it's workshops, challenges, boot camps, master classes, organizations, whatever, you need a great name that's going to attract people to you. Another one would be something like when you call out, for instance, keto for families. Okay, maybe you have a program on eating keto. Okay, keto would be the how you do it, and it's for families, or keto for lovers, or keto for couples, or something like that. Okay, so you're kind of specifically attracting who you want in your program. Another great way, you see this from like the gurus, like, Tony Robbins or Brendon Burchard, or, even just a bunch of, big name people in the industry of personal development. They may use the word mastery in their programs, okay? Or they may use the greatest blah, blah, blah in their programs, or the ultimate blank, okay? So, but it's more vague, all right? I don't think those are very effective when you don't have a name for yourself. I like that we actually kind of spell out what our programs are about in the name. And I'm going to get to that now, which is more talking about what is the outcome, right? Putting the outcome in the name of your program, or the big promise, right? It's, you hear that a lot, is, and it's the most common way to create a name for a workshop, a boot camp, your program, your service, okay, or a product for that matter. And that is using X outcome in Y time. X outcome, okay, what's the outcome? What are you going to get in Y time? So for instance, how to create a low ticket offer in a weekend. How to create, so the outcome, a low ticket offer, that's the outcome, in a weekend, that's the time. Okay, so that's one of my master classes, right? That's something that I will be selling over Black Friday. Okay, so that is one way. So people are, or you see, in 7 days, you can do X, Y, Z. You could flip it and do time first and outcome. So X time to achieve Y outcome. 7 days to a slimmer body. 7 days to a slimmer body. So if that's your program, or 30 days to a slimmer body, or 90 days to a slimmer body. Okay, slimmer body is the outcome. Time is how long it's going to take them to get there. Okay, so that is a great way to promote a program, service, or product. Another way to do it is to use an action verb plus an outcome. Okay, so you know how to be persuasive, which is the verb, and get what you want. Okay, so I love, when I'm thinking of an idea for my programs, I love looking at books, and I'm going to go through books with you just to show you how they come up with names. Another great one is using an action verb plus the outcome plus the process of getting there, or the method to get there, in the title. So how to make millions with cryptocurrency. Okay, so make is the verb, millions is the outcome, the what, how, or the process is cryptocurrency. Okay, or how to make millions with workshops, or how to make millions with continuing education products, whatever. But you see how it's broken out into verb, outcome, process. Okay. Another one is you could do is verb, current situation, desired situation. Okay, that's another great way. Okay. Also know that you can search for a free product name generator, where you're putting in your keywords and they will come up with suggestions for you. So if you're completely blanked, you can use a free product name generator. Okay, so just put those words into the search bar in Google, and it will bring, help you out if you're completely stuck. Now you can also use a single word, okay, with a subtitle underneath. Okay, and I'm going to show you that. So a great examples of this is things called Ask. Okay, Ask by Ryan Levesque, and then he has his subtitle under here explaining what this book is all about. But he also has programs too. So this goes into, I'm not going to read the subtitle, but that's another way to do it, is to draw the attention with one word. Another guy that has had a major program, also a book named, and it was called The Launch. Do you remember this? By Jeff Walker. And he says here, an internet millionaire's secret formula to sell almost anything online, build a business you love, and live the life of your dreams. So this is like the subheading that kind of explains more what this launch is all about, but it draws the attention because it's one word, a single word for a title with the subheading you could do to explain what your program, service, or product is all about. So those are two examples. Now, I have a ton of examples, but let me see what else I have here before I get into that. Another way is if you can use words or that describe the method, right? Or that it is or it is, for instance, a method. You could end lead generation method, or lose weight, the fastest way to lose weight method. What's your method? You can end it with a method, but you can end your title with factor, formula, way, principle, rule, the element, the effect. Okay, so the effect, I have someone here. Here's a book by Joe Vitale, and he calls it the attraction factor. And then underneath, 5 easy steps for creating wealth or anything else from the inside out. Okay, so he also has a course that is designed around this as well. So the attraction factor program, okay, and then underneath it describes how you're going to get there. Okay, so that is a possibility. Let me see if I have something else that I actually love books, looking at what books do. Another way is, I'll go through all these, is, using the noun plus a noun or a noun plus a verb. Okay, so here's one, words that sell. Words that sell. Okay, so there's definitely a program, more than 6,000 entries to help you promote your product, service, and ideas. It is a boom, it grabs your attention, it's short and sweet, and you know exactly what this book is going to be about. You can also think about it of your program being short and snappy as far as words in the title that tell you exactly what's inside. So for instance, I have a course named Build, Nurture, and Convert program. So build your audience, nurture your audience, convert your audience, build, nurture, convert, boom, that's it. Okay, so that's also good. So let me just show you some other things. So I love this one. Go for no, go for no, go for no. And then yes is the destination, no is how you get there. Okay, so this is showing you yes is the definition. Remember, if we went back to verb, action verb plus current situation to desired situation. So verb, go for no. Okay, yes is the destination. No is how you get there, the method of getting it there. Very snappy, very, very good marketing here. Okay. You wouldn't know what this is. This is Joe Dispenza's book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. Would you know what that meant? Absolutely not. I wouldn't. And if you have How to Lose Your Mind and Create a New One, How to Lose Your Mind and Create a New One. So now it makes sense. Breaking the habit of being yourself. Right? Here's a great one. Oh, I love this book. This was one of my first prospecting books. Oh my God, this was good. It was called Zero Rejecting Prospecting by Norbert Orlowitz and Michael Durkin. How to avoid rejection using online strategies to build a massive downline. This is when I was like hot into network marketing. Okay, great book on marketing strategies for network marketers. But you see how zero rejection, that's what people hate. They hate in network marketing is rejection. And how do you prospect? Zero rejection prospecting. Oh my God, good title. Okay, so you get some ideas here. I mean, there are online, you can download all these different formulas for creating a program name, a course name, a workshop name. Hi, Christina. A workshop name, a bootcamp name, or, even a name for your Facebook Live. I use a particular structure for titling my Facebook Lives. Okay, so I use a formula. Okay, you guys, you don't have to make this up. Other people have done all the work for us as far as creating formulas that work for naming things like workshops, boot camps, your Facebook Lives, your program and services, your products. There are formulas out there, and I just have given you a few, that you could possibly use. Hi, Kaylee. Hi, Christina. Hi, Tara. Yeah, great. So, if you're stuck, and then also remember, if you're stuck, there are generators out there, product name generators. Now, remember, product, even though you think you're thinking of a product, like something to handhold, product is the generic name for programs, services, and actual products. Okay, so they call it the product generator. Okay. So don't think, oh, but I have a program or a service that wouldn't be good for me. Yeah, it would be good for you. Okay. So think about that. You want something snappy. Another great thing to do if you're like, I have 3 great names, I don't know which one, put it out there, do a poll. Put it in your group, on your personal page, in somebody else's group, ask if you can ask somebody's audience what they think of your 3 names for a program name, a service name, a bootcamp name, if you are struggling with a name for it. Okay. So it's always to get a second opinion on something. Okay. So for instance, I'm designing something for January. My coach, I threw it out to her and she shortened it down 4 words. Okay. Instead of, I think I had 3 words, but then I had this long subtitle underneath, and she just shortened the whole thing into 4 words where I don't even need to have a tagline underneath. So, use your resources in your inner circle or your community, or tap into your members of your group or somebody else's group or your friends. Okay. So that's what I have today. I don't think I have any questions, you guys. And funny, I have one program name, and I just don't like it. I don't like it. And I've been using it for 2 years, and I just don't like it. So, I might change the name. Interesting how things kind of, don't fit for a while, and you just want to change the name. So, but then you have to change all your marketing around the name. So a name is very, very important for you to stand out. And obviously, there are people that start with, I heard the story, smart marketing for women. And then, 3 years later, she expanded into men. So now she has to change the name for smart marketing business for business owners or something. And all her marketing information that goes out, logo, sales pages, landing pages, everything, signature lines had to be changed. So, when you're thinking of a program name, really look at what is the demographic, what is your ideal client, are you going to want to expand later and reach a different demographic of people? Think about all that when you're creating a program name. Or, if you don't have the word women or men in the logo, is the name generic for either or, even though you only market to men or only market to women now. Okay, so consider these things when you're creating a name. All right, that's what I have for you for today. Be sure to check your trademark. Okay, you don't have to get a trademark, but you do want to make sure that your program name is not used by somebody else, because they will come after you. I have had people come after me for my workshop name, where she said there is a book. This woman wrote a whole book and a whole program using that name. So I had to change it. I had to modify it. So you want to be very conscious of that, okay, when you're designing a name. All right. Okay, you guys, have a great rest of your week, and let's grow. Bye.